and Q&A are done, the judges will score and deliberate privately in order to determine who our winner today will be. The winner will be announced by Dr. Precious Moloi Motsepe. Let me then call to the virtual stage Dr. Precious Moloi Motsepe, who's the co-founder and CEO of the Motsepe Foundation. Her philanthropy is guided by a vision to improve quality of life for all. Dr. Moloi Motsepe, through the Motsepe Foundation, supports programs in education and leadership, sports, music and arts, community development, women empowerment, and works with stakeholders as well as governments to promote social cohesion, including a partnership with the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship. The co-founder of the Motsepe Foundation, Dr. Moloi Motsepe, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Nzinga, and a very warm welcome and a good afternoon to everyone joining us online today. Welcome to the second Golden Circle competition that we started as a foundation during our inaugural Information and Opportunities Expo, which we launched during Youth Month this year. As Nzinga has said, our mission as a foundation is to contribute towards the eradication of poverty through programs that help our people to be self-sustaining. As we like to say, or rather our chairman, Mr. Patrice Motsepe, likes to say, we want to teach people how to fish. We give you a hand up, not a hand out. So the Information and Opportunities Expo was started as this broader effort to help people help themselves. Other programs include bursaries, as Nzinga has said, as well in tertiary education, improving skills through digital education, as well as training, and focusing young people on STEM studies. Our focus is also in the arts and sports, and I'd like to say at this stage, a big congratulations to Desiree Ellis and Banyana for winning the African Cup of Nations for women's football and becoming the champions of Africa. That's what we want to see. So today we welcome our competing entrepreneurs and we meet them here today. And I know that all of us are very excited to see who's going to walk away with that cash prize and an ability to get one of our judges or some of the other established entrepreneurs to help them along the way as they develop their own businesses and their innovations. Now, today's entrepreneurs, I'm excited to say, are mostly social entrepreneurs. And we know that social entrepreneurs are critically important at this time as we try to recover from the pandemic, because their focus is not only on ensuring that they become profitable businesses, but they also tend to want to solve some big social challenges that we all face. And we know that as South Africa and on the African continent, we have huge social problems that need to be solved. So I'm very excited to see that we have a very good cohort of social entrepreneurs. So to our judges, I just want to say thank you so much for spending time, your valuable time, to be with us this afternoon. We really appreciate that not only are you going to be judging the competitors, but you will also be helping them to formulate and think through how they implement their business ideas and how they grow their businesses. And to all our entrepreneurs, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you, and over to you, Nzinga.
Thank you, Dr. Precious Moloi Motsepe. Let's now get into who our entrepreneurs are. The 5 entrepreneurs who will be pitching to our judges today. We'll start with someone who is still in clothing design and construction training, Amy Kasim. She's the founder of luxury brand Remendo May. Our second entrepreneur is a graduate of Harry Oppenheimer Diamond Training School, Siyabonga Donga. He's the founder of On the Run Logistics. Our third entrepreneur is a software developer by training, Keletso Lekwakwe, the co-founder of Password Kid. Our fourth entrepreneur, currently pursuing her master's degree in fintech, Kohula Baloy, and she's the founder of Someone Investments. And our fifth and final entrepreneur, an engineering graduate, Sibongile Mongadi, is the founder of Ukuhamba Prosthetics and Orthotics. With that, we're going to begin our pitch sessions with Remendo May, Amy May Kasim. You have 3 minutes to pitch. It's over to you. You're on mute. These are the challenges of sometimes virtual. Amy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The fashion industry is the second largest polluter in the world and contributes to over 90 million tons of textile waste each year. Hi, my name is Amy May. I'm a South African fashion designer for Remendo May Conscious Fashion, and I'm using my brand to make a change in the fashion industry. So Remendo May is a sustainable, ready-to-wear fashion brand that creates upcycled garments from wasted fabrics and materials. When it comes to the fashion industry, sustainability isn't a big concern. The production of creating new garments is extremely harmful to the environment and our people. And this is only getting worse each year due to fast fashion and unmindful buying habits. However, the talk of sustainability is growing in South Africa, and this is pushing people towards more conscious consumption. Remendo May aims to take advantage of this by creating a new fashion-forward narrative of what fashion should be by creating eco-friendly clothing. We collect only wasted fabric and materials, turning waste into high-value garments that are meaningful. We use cut-offs and fabric scraps and general waste materials that come from producing clothing from manufacturers and fashion brands to create our garments. We also want to begin a Cash for Scraps initiative where the local communities are rewarded for donating clothing and fabrics. Remendo May wants to make sustainability fashionable, desirable, and accessible. Remendo May garments include urban wear items that appeal to a younger audience. Unlike other sustainable fashion brands, we want to change the narrative that eco-friendly fashion has to be costly and mainly catered towards a more mature market. We attract customers who are in their youth, who are conscious of their actions, and appreciate fashionable streetwear that has a purpose. Remendo May should be in your closet because of the agenda and awareness behind each item. These clothing items tell a story about the customer before they even say a word. And this has the power to connect them with other conscious individuals. So when you wear Remendo May, you not only look good, but you wear the mindset of a conscious consumer. In the next 3 years, we plan to be a globally recognized South African sustainable company with a team full of young local designers. This is an exciting opportunity because ethical and sustainable talk in the country is becoming more widespread and important. And in the next few years, it's going to be essential for all businesses to play a part in sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Judges, do you have any questions?
Hansinger, I've got a question.
Please go ahead.
Amy, first of all, that was a great pitch. Thank you. Very clear and concise and exactly what you're doing. You summarized that really well in 3 minutes. I wanted to ask, fashion is, of course, a very difficult industry. You know, whether you have a sustainable social impact model or not, it's still quite a difficult space to get into in South Africa.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to know 2 questions. What would be, and you might have mentioned this, sorry, I might have missed some of it with the sound being a bit off of my computer. 2 questions. One is, what is the average price point of your garments? And then the second one would be, what would be the mode in which, or the vehicle rather, that you would want to sell them? Is it predominantly online, or is it going to be with stores? Yeah, thanks.
Okay, that's a very good question. So due to our low overhead production costs, we are able to make our products more affordable. So the price range is going to be from around 200 Rand to 600 Rand per item. So we do want it to be more affordable to the mass markets in South Africa. And we want to sell it through an e-commerce website. So we are planning to use an e-commerce online store to sell our garments, because statistics show that other than people's preference for online shopping, e-commerce in South Africa has been and is continuing to grow. And compared to the rest of the world, there's still a new and upcoming market. So we want to begin selling online and using that space. initially.
Cool. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you so much.
I have a question, Zinga.
Please go ahead, judges, and just jump in from this point on.
Thank you, Amy, for a great pitch. I just wanted to also check, seeing that you're focusing on e-commerce, what skills first do you have or do you anticipate to have within your business that's going to ensure that you are sustainable operationally? And then secondly, how do you foresee yourself managing, labor-related issues? And I anticipate that you will not be working primarily in your factories.
So I have experience with social media marketing, and I'm working for another fashion brand at the moment currently. So I kind of have the skills in the business sense of for the retail side of fashion. So I plan to integrate those skills into my business. And the second question was, sorry.
Labor, how will you manage, labor issues? I take it you are planning on growing. You're not going to be a sole.
Yes. So initially we want to at least, I think, hire about 2 young designers, some young fashion designers. So I already have some people in mind who I want to hire. And we're going to work in like a studio. And when it comes to labor issues, I think I'm going to outsource that with maybe a HR professional.
Thank you.
I have a question. Amy, I loved your pitch, and it's a very exciting area of work. And I think I have kept my eye on the sustainable fashion industry, and it's a good time to be getting in there because it's not big and overwhelming yet. So I wanted to get a sense from you whether you have looked at what the kind of environment and competition is in the area, even though I can imagine it's still emerging and quite small.
Yes, so I have done some market research and researched the competitors, and although it is still a young market, it is a market that's growing. Yes, sorry. And sorry. And our company, unlike other sustainable companies that I have seen in South Africa, I feel like they're more targeted towards more mature markets, and the prices are quite high when it comes to sustainable goods, like the fashion industry. So when it comes to Remendo May, I think we want to target a younger audience and keep the products more affordable so that we can include the youth, because that's where the change starts. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no more questions from the judges, I'd like us to move on. Thank you so much for your pitch, and judges for your questions and interactions. Our second entrepreneur is a graduate of Harry Oppenheimer Diamond Training School. Siyabonga Donga is the founder of On the Run Logistics. Siyabonga, very good afternoon to you. Please go ahead. Siyabonga, you're on mute.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
We can hear you well.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to everyone in our highly esteemed panel of judges. I am Abdul Rahim Sebangadonga from On The Run Logistics, a nationwide courier company currently operating from Soweto. We have identified a gap in the courier industry where townships are classified as outlying or dangerous areas by existing transport corporations, which neglects the delivery process of goods within these areas. Our solution to this long-standing problem is creating a system where we use the existing infrastructure of local establishments as satellite hubs for the distribution of these parcels. It works by using a three-way system where customers buy an empty sleeve and a label, which the customer then fills out manually with the recipient's details for submission to their cashier. For further electronic submission via any device that can connect to the internet onto our system to prompt our drivers for collection. Our infrastructure includes the usage of spaza shops, internet cafes, restaurants, and any other outlets that meet our criteria for a hub to distribute parcels primarily by the use of bicycles within a specified radius by residents of these townships. This is a basic skill that the economically active population can use to create a passive income and an additional revenue stream for local business owners to participate within the logistics supply chain. This has been specifically designed to meet the needs of emerging e-commerce stores, the unemployed youth, and courier companies without reach within these areas. Our solution is a joint collective initiative, which attracts the distribution of goods and services within the macro economy by creating accessible jobs to combat unemployment in a green and a healthier way. Thank you.
Thanks, Yabonga. Judges, you can jump in every time an entrepreneur finishes pitching and ask any questions to get any clarity on the business idea or more.
Siyabonga, I'll ask a quick question. Just if you can just clearly explain to me the entire value chain, from the parcel that needs to be delivered, where exactly that comes from, and the whole process from how it gets from the parcel to the customer. If you can just clearly explain that process and all the different players involved in that value chain, that'll be awesome. Thank you.
So I'll firstly start with explaining the different players within this industry. So what we do is we use local shops, which are spaza shops, internet cafes, and any other outlets that meet our criteria as a hub, similarly to Pet Taxi. But now what it does is we use the shop as a hub where we then where the customer then comes and drops off the parcel, and the parcel is then collected by the driver to the warehouse to distribution wherever within the country. And then in terms of inbound deliveries, if a parcel, let's say, has to be delivered in Soweto, this is where most courier companies do not go because it's deemed as dangerous and all of that. What happens then is the parcel is taken to a hub in Soweto for further delivery by anyone who can ride a bicycle. These bicycles are taken from a local bicycle company that is currently trading in Vilakazi Street, which sells bikes, repairs them, and rents them out on a daily basis, which then breeds an element of familiarity too and security because people are not prone to steal from people that they know. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yep, you answered my question. And what's your business model? How do you make money?
How do you make money? When every time a customer sends a parcel, that's where we receive the cash injection. Now, because of the petrol price and all of that, it has made it hard for us to compete within this market. Because if you look at, for instance, where you deliver a parcel for 100 Rand, the bigger companies can afford that because they've got business that supports that price. However, for a small courier company like me, it's been hard. So to create an agile supply chain solution, I had to cut that by half at least, to make sure that if there's no one delivering, then it would mean more money for the person who's delivering. And not only that, if you've got no overheads in using a bicycle, the spend becomes totally less, because even when I receive money, I don't have to pour petrol in return to make sure that the parcel is delivered.
Cool, thank you.
And what are the different price, points for the different sizes of the packages that customers would drop there? If you can just elaborate on that. And secondly, how do you guarantee security for customers' parcels?
Okay. In terms of price, we do have an existing price model which ranges from 100 Rand up until 450 for the largest parcel that exists. Now, based on my understanding of what you are asking is now, how do I ensure that I am able to make money out of this? Is that correct?
No, I needed the first question you've answered. I needed to understand the scaling of your pricing. The second one, I'm trying to understand
Security.
what factor have you put in place to ensure you guarantee security of customers' parcels. So if they get lost, given the price model that you have, how do you then factor the security element of, a risk in losing the parcels?
Okay, so the prices, like I said, range from 100 Rand to 400. And second to that, in terms of security, because we are using shops that are already there, which already have stock within these places, they do ensure the security because it's not every day that the parcels get stolen, their stock gets stolen in the shop. Not only that, we have looked into goods in transit insurance, which is an insurance cover that covers parcels that are being delivered within by different drivers and companies within our business delivery model. So there is an insurance cover for that, and because it's parcels within a very small price gap, what we did then is that we have said, in order to get cover for anything that is expensive, then we are going to charge on aside from what we charge. Sorry. Yes.
I'm answered, Siyabonga. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just checking if there are any other questions for Siyabonga before we move on to our next entrepreneur.
So I wanted to ask about the social impact of what Siyabonga is proposing. You talked about hiring unemployed youth or targeting unemployed youth. I don't know if I understood it correctly. But is there some broader social impact behind your idea?
I think it's mainly focused on unemployment, and not only that, it's focused on building more businesses within townships too. Because if you think about it, if my company, being On the Run Logistics, is giving business or more revenue to a spaza shop that is already existing, it automatically puts them into the value chain of logistics. And not only that, it says to the person who's fixing the bikes, I can also make money out of that by renting out bikes too. Not only that, cycling and logistics are industries that are not easily available within these townships too. So now it brings in all of that business too for anyone who wants to start a cycling business, a cycling team, and all of that. So it's an unquantifiable and extensive business model where I can't really even gauge or measure the amount of impact that it would offer to these communities.
Thank you.
If that's all, we'll move on to our next pitch. Our third entrepreneur is a software developer by training. Keletso Lekwakwakwe is the co-founder of Password Kid. Keletso, a very good afternoon. Over to you and good luck.
Hello everyone, my name is Kelezole Gwagwe and I'm from Password Kid. It is reported that there are around 1.2 million children trafficked every single year in South Africa alone. which most of them are being stolen from primary schools and ECD centers by strangers pretending to be parents or pretending to be sent by parents. So the solution to the problem is the Password Kit mobile app, whereby using our Password Kit app, parents can simply delegate people they trust to go and pick up their child from school on their behalf in case the parent is not available to go and pick up the child, whereby the person will then have to go to the school admin will then have to verify that particular person using our Password Kit station installed inside the school premises. If all the details have been confirmed and verified, the parent will simply receive a notification that has the collector's details, the date, the time, and the location of pickup. So in a nutshell, every time the child enters or leaves the school premises, the parent gets to receive the notification. Our target markets are primary schools, daycares, and aftercares, whereby there are more than 500 of those in South Africa, with more than 12 million children attending school every single day. Our product is a monthly subscription product, which from the past year, we had around 460 active users in our platform. Then moving into this year, we have grown by 40%, which gives us around 672 active users currently in our platform. Our competitors are CCTV footages, access control, phone call confirmations, and so forth, whereby what makes us better from our competitors is the fact that we have real-time delegations, face recognitions, one-time passwords, and so forth. And most importantly, what all our competitors have in common is the fact that they provide proof of what happened to the child, rather than stopping the child from being kidnapped at the first place, which is what we do at Password Kit. We stop the child from being kidnapped at the first place. And also, we're not only trying to build a product that stops children from being kidnapped. We're building a movement into our communities and societies that people can earn some money directly from our platform by simply just collecting children from school on behalf of their parents. For as far as the milestones are concerned, we are the current winners of Uber Tech for Safety. We have managed to secure a few partnerships with companies that operate within the educational sector, also been featured in a few radio stations across the country, engaging with parents and school owners. For as far as the team goes, there's myself and my co-founder, which we are both honors graduates in software development. And with the money that we're about to win into this competition, it will be used to actually for marketing and for raising awareness. Thank you for listening. I welcome every possible questions.
Keletso Lekwakwe, thanks so much for your pitch. Judges, over to you.
I'll go first then. So when I hear verification, it always interests me. We invest in startups that utilize blockchain. So verification is a big part of the different startups that we look at. Can you tell me more about your verification process? How safe is it? I think there's a massive element of trust in your business. How can you explain that process?
That's a very good question. So from the parent's end, the parent delegate the person that they want to go and pick up the child from school, right? So a verification process is either by face recognitions or one-time passwords or ID card scanning. It depends in which feature did the parent use prior to delegating the person to go and pick up the child. For instance, if the parent used my face to go and pick up the child, when I get to the school admin will then have to verify me using my face. Or if it's a one-time password, I'll have to provide the one-time password when I get to school. The very same procedure with the ID card scannings.
You'll also have to be an accredited individual or go through some sort of like KYC before you become a walker, right? I mean, you have to have no criminal record, that kind of thing. What process do you go through to get the person on the platform?
So from how we verify the walker and the trustee, that's your question, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we do is that the walker or the trustee have to give the copy of their ID, and then we send them a form which is authorized by an authority of oath, either from the court or from which most of the times we use the police station. The police stamp that, and then we send it to the walker, and then the walker signs to prove that, okay, I'm indeed, committing myself to collect children. Should something happen to the particular child in my day of delegation, then I will be held accountable.
Cool, awesome. Do you have a rating system out of interest? So
yes, we do.
Okay, yeah. How does that
work?
So
how we rate our people, it depends on how much money that they made and the feedback that the parent gives, for instance, and the school gives. For instance, if you arrived on time to come and pick up the child, if you arrived on time in the morning to come and collect the child from home to school. And also, it also depends on at the time that the parent gets to receive the alert, because also as a parent, that the time that you receive an SMS alert, it means that, okay, if you received an SMS alert at 4 p.m., that means the child was picked up late from school, which usually school, they come out around 2 to 3 in the evening. So that's how we actually compile our ratings.
Awesome. I really like it. That's awesome. And geographically, where are you active and where do you plan to go?
Currently we have schools in Pretoria, Durban, and also in the Northwest. So we're really trying to go mass market here, because we really need to get to as many people as we can. I mean, this has been a problem for a very long time, and it becomes more and more problematic year by year. So it needs to be captured as soon as possible.
Cool. Thanks. Great idea. Really like it.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe I should go as well. I like your concept as well. Just one question. I mean, I suppose if you've already indicated the different provinces where you're at, what would be your next move around addressing the same issue in the semi-rural areas, particularly where technology is concerned? The verification model currently uses, cell phones. What are your plans, in the future?
So for people who are less tech savvy, or those who who don't own smartphones, like as per your question, we are looking at that's what some of this money will be used for. We are looking at a USSD code. Right, so it's a bit expensive, so that's what we are looking at currently, to to help those grannies and those granddads who doesn't own any smartphones, to also be involved in the movement of keeping children safe, and also being able to make some money for themselves.
Sounds good.
So hi there, great idea.
Yeah.
Have you thought about your pricing points? Have you thought about what you're going to charge the parents, and what are you going to basically pay the walkers, or the verified walkers?
Okay, so the parent pays from 10 rands to 40 rands per month. We have a monthly subscription of 10 rands to 40 rands per month, depending on the package that the parent chose. And then the workers are going to be paid depending on the distance they had to travel to go and pick up the child from school. Just like your Bolt and your Uber works, right? It charges you with the distance that you are going to, or that you will be picked from. So that's how we charge the workers and the trustees, because it was going to be unfair for parents to pay monthly fees to workers, whereby they use them, let's say, 2 or 3 times only a month. So hence we charge with the distance that you traveled.
Just a follow-on question. Are you not scared that because you charge the parents a monthly fee that's capped, that won't exceed what you actually have to pay the walkers because of the distance?
Well, thank you for the question. That came to our attention as well. But what the preschools or the daycares usually do, they charge from 100 rands per late pickup. From like, if you are late with an hour to come and pick up the child, the school charges from 100 rands. So it's a matter of which one is better. Do you want to pay the trustee less than the amount that you'll be charged by the school for late pickup, or you'd rather pay your worker? So that means if you are late with 2 hours to come and pick up the child, you have 200 fine to the school. So maybe you could have paid a worker at least 50 rand.
Maybe it's the last question, Keluto. Where do you see this your initiative? I mean, it's a great idea. 5 years, maybe not 10 years, 5 years from now. Where do you see yourself with this initiative? Is this something that you are potentially looking at going big commercial with it? You're resolving a social ill. If you use an area and you find that it's working, what have you anticipated you wanting to do with this initiative of yours?
Well, for the next 5 years, we're actually aiming to get to other countries in Africa. If you could check Nigeria, for instance, it has a very high number of child kidnappings, predominantly from schools, more than South Africa. And I was also speaking to a friend of mine in business in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe also needs this, and so we aiming to actually expand to other countries. And also we also innovating new products that tackles the very same problem, but in a very different way. So we're really aiming to expand, to go mass market, so to speak.
Just checking that there are no more questions from the judges before we move on to our next entrepreneur. All right, our next entrepreneur is currently pursuing her master's degree in fintech. Kuhula Baloyi is the founder of Someone Investments. Kuhula, a very
Thank you for that. Good afternoon, esteemed guests, judges, and fellow entrepreneurs. My name is Kurula Baloyi, and I'm the founder of Someone Investments. Someone Investments provides short-term stokvel investments to low and middle income consumers that have been excluded by the investment industry. Stokvels, as large as they are, do not have a tailor-made investment product. And that's because there's currently a mismatch between the current products and the products that stokvel needs. We find that the time horizon is too long, the initial investment is too high, and the fees are too high, which doesn't justify the average and sometimes negative return that people are getting. So we come in as Someone Investments and we propose a solution. We propose to pool money together from stokvels and invest it in our portfolio of assets, right? Our portfolio of assets includes livestock, crop farming, and delivery bikes, right? In order to sort of de-risk these assets, we have an investment committee that helps us vet all the assets before investing in them. And then we partner with investment partners, which are very experienced and are seasoned professionals in their type of assets. As these assets make money, our investors generate a return, and we're able to generate a performance fee from the returns, right? Our traction so far, we have over 50 members managing over 500,000 Rand worth of assets. We've generated more than 70,000 Rand in revenue. But most importantly, we've been able to create 18 jobs in the last 2 years. And this is predominantly in township and rural markets as a result of our investment in these communities. So our solution has a dual impact. Not only are we empowering stokvels to generate returns, we're also empowering our communities. Today, we're coming here and asking for, as a start, the 80,000 Rand, and we'd like to use that to develop a WhatsApp bot to make it easier for stokvels and potential stokvels to communicate with us. Yeah, thanks so much.
You may have stunned everyone into silence. Just checking if the judges have any questions for Kurula as we proceed with the pitch session.
Kurula, great idea. I've seen it in carte launch a few months ago. Just by way, so you make money from investing in livestock, crop farm, and delivering bikes.
Mm.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So how do you actually make money? Do you buy a sheep and basically make sure the sheep mates, and then the offspring you sell? How do you actually make money? How do you make a return?
Okay. So the way these assets, all the assets that we invest in are income generating assets. So all of these assets make money. If you look at the delivery bikes, they generate rental. If you look at the livestock, they will eventually sell the livestock, and same thing with agriculture when you harvest. So that's how we make money. And then our investors get their return, and we take a performance fee and a management fee.
Out of interest, what is your performance fee and your management fee?
We have a 2 to 10 model, but we're also working around a sliding scale in terms of the performance fee. So, base it on how much returns we're generating, and then make a fee from that. But for regulatory purposes, at this point, we have to keep it fixed.
Have you ever considered the liquidity constraint? if a Stockfell basically comes to you and say, listen, I've got to liquidate, I'm sorry, there's unforeseen circumstances, what do you do?
All right, so we have a fixed period of time, which is 12 months. And then in the 13th month, Stockfells have the option of cashing out. The reason we follow this structure is because we understand that Stockfells traditionally cash out at the end of the year, right? And then they can use that to go buy their groceries, to renovate, and all of the goals that they have. So we have enough time in that year to have generated sufficient returns for them. So even when we're planning at the beginning of the year, we know, okay, this is how it has to work. At the end of the year, we need to be ready to liquidate. Bearing in mind that these assets are generating money throughout the year. So it's not like we're only making money at the end of the year, but we're just preparing for that liquidation, so to speak, at the end of the year. And yeah, we haven't had situations where that's happened. We actually have a 99.99% retention rate. We've only had one issue where they've had to leave us, and that was circumstances beyond their control. So for the last 2 years, Stockfells are happy with their returns, and they're sticking through the term.
And just lastly, what is your average return been for the period that you've been in operation?
Yeah, so 15 to 18%, this is after fees. So as the Stockfells would get 15 to 18%.
That's amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
I think I sort of understand your model, but wanted to just check with your current investors, your Stockfells, where you primarily operating on. So Soweto area, Pretoria, is it the townships only, or all over?
Yeah, Gauteng is our biggest market. So most of our Stockfells are based in Gauteng, and that is also in township markets. So Soweto is a big one. That's kind of where we started, working around. Soweto is a big market, and that was just purely from a familiarity perspective. So I can only imagine once we start branching out to other regions, and then after that would be Limpopo. So those are our top two markets. Yeah, but the plan is to go throughout Africa, because there's some form of Stockfell structure, in various forms, but throughout Africa.
Great.
I had a couple of questions, but I looked at your website and they answered them for me. So great pitch. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
I'm just checking that there's no more questions from the judges before we move on to our fifth and final entrepreneur. All right, an engineering graduate, Sibongile Mongadi is the founder of Ukuhamba Prosthetics and Orthotics. A very good afternoon to you, Sibongile. It's over to you and good luck.
Thank you so much. Greetings to you all. Can you hear me? Okay. Greetings. I go by the name of Sibongile Mongadi. I serve as a founder of a startup company called Ukuhamba Prosthetics and Orthotics, and our motto says giving you a hand. The demand of affordable prosthetic limbs is currently higher than what is available in the market. For example, one of the third largest hospital in the entire world from the Southern Hemisphere, known as Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital, can only produce 120 prosthetics annually with a database of 10,000 patients annually. Now, as Ukuhamba Prosthetics, our solution is that we actually leverage the digital technology for faster production, affordability, and sustainability of prosthetic, using your eco-environmental friendly material to produce your prosthetic limbs with a quicker turnaround time. And the good thing about our product is that they come in a various colors that delights the user, and they're also lightweight and custom-made, meaning that we cater according to the client's specification. And our users can wear this proudly and showcase their prosthetics. how we actually make money out of this. We actually design, produce, and supply to different customer segmentation and according to clients' requirements. And currently what we have managed to achieve as Vuhamba, we are actually a multi-award-winning startup. As you can see, these are some of our startups. We are actually being recognized globally and in Africa continentally via innovation. And also we managed to raise 213,500 from seed grants and also SAID. So currently we managed to raise 83,500 rand from sales, and 130 was actually raised from your seed grants, and that actually helped us to build our workshop. As you can see, currently I'm sitting in our manufacturing workshop. And then also we are actually working with different partners and stakeholders, such as your university, and also having strategic partners. And we are also a team of, as a founder, and also working with 2 interns and also 2 contractors, and our collective working experience, including our advisory board. It's more than 60 years of working experience that includes sales, prosthetics, and also in digital technology, technical management scientists, and also in data science. And the other thing as well, as I'm not sure if I'm able to actually demonstrate this, but this is what actually sets us apart. As you can see, this is our prosthetics. So this is the entire leg. For our user. So as Vuhamba Prosthetics and Orthotics, currently we know that there are more than 3 million amputees in South Africa that actually wait for years trying to access this. And we as Vuhamba, we can actually change this in a period of a day or 2. So Vuhamba actually means mobility. Let's get them mobile. And with the award of winning of 80,000 rand, it will actually help us to actually get our 3D scanner so that we can actually be able to take accurate measurement and avoid wastage of material. Thank you.
Thanks, Sibongile. That was awesome. You're making me want to move from blockchain to social impact. The pictures have been great today. Awesome ideas as well. I often see, people that should have prosthetics but can't afford it. So I'm glad that someone is doing this. What is the average price point for them? Do you distribute directly to the end consumer, or do you have people in between? How does that process work, and the price as well?
Okay, so currently, as part of our business model, what we also managed to do, we actually had to revisit our business model. Then we actually came up with a business model that is known as a cross-subsidy. So what it happens, it's like when someone is currently employed, right? Then you are actually able to purchase a prosthetic. Then we actually charge you at a cost. Maybe let's say our prosthetic is like 150,000 rand. You would actually be paying it unaware that you're already also paying for buying another one for another user. So that's also our business model. And then currently our pricing, they actually differ. For example, for kids, when they're actually in need of a hand, we actually, if we produce this like a bionic hand, it actually costs like 20,000 rand. And then if it's just a standard, but just a robotic, it also costs like 15,000 rand. So it actually, it depends what the customer actually requires.
What's the range for your different products of the price?
Okay. So currently we have different products. For one, your prosthetic covers, right? We produce prosthetic covers for existing users, so that if like their prosthetic has metal, so we just want them to actually, if he or she wants to wear short and whatnot, so that he or she can change like to give it a flavor, right? So that actually a prosthetic cover, if we produce it at Vuhamba, it actually costs 1,500 rand for the existing users. And then also we actually produce your braces. So braces are literally used for those that are actually living with a physical disability, not necessarily amputees, right? So that also differs. We have like, maybe if a person needs just a hand splint or brace, it costs like 250. And then if someone needs like crush fillers, this is what we also do. replace existing crush fillers, then this we charge like 40 Rand for 2. And then also let's say like with what you call there's something that I did not mention in terms of our products, right? We are looking at also the amputee shoes, right? Because like other people like suffer from sugar diabetes and all that, so we also produce such. And then yeah, I think that's it about our product. It's prosthetics and prosthetic like the entire leg, lower leg, and also like the hand and arm, and then your braces and your prosthetic covers.
Thanks.
Thanks, Simbongile. Such an important business and organization, and the work that you do is obviously makes a huge difference and has a social impact. So what I wanted to ask you about though is, what are the kinds of challenges or barriers that you experience in running your business?
Okay, currently one of the challenges is load shedding, right? So because we are using like your 3D printers. So when we actually encounter load shedding, obviously it stops the production. And then sometimes it literally makes like the material turns out to be a spaghetti. So it means it's a waste of material. So that's also one of our challenges, because currently we don't have any backup like your USP or your solar panel kind of thing. So that's currently our challenge in terms of production. And also the other thing was access to the market, but currently we actually in communication with MedFine. So they're actually like an insurance company that actually assists amputees that are actually in need of prosthetics. So it's like they offer them a loan, then they are able to actually pay them like every month.
Okay, thank you.
You're very much welcome.
Sibongile, great idea. I just wanted to check, have your products been accredited like by the South African Bureau of Standards? Have you, I know you're working with universities as well.
Yes. Okay, so currently like now, we are, yes, working with universities. So the only thing that we actually need to do is comply with, is it South African health regulatory body at Pretoria. So what they will need to do, they will actually give us a certified certificate for, in order for us to be a manufacturer, a medical device manufacturer. But however, prosthetics, according to the Act Gazette, is actually regarded as a risk, a low risk product, which is level 1.
So it's just a follow-on question. So do you only work with the University of Pretoria, or do you work with other universities as well?
With other universities. I'm also like a former graduate from University of Johannesburg.
Hi, Sibongile. Do you anticipate seeing your entity crossing, the borders, working within the region as well? And within your business plan or model, do you have the health government involved, so that the bulk of people waiting could be referred back to you? Just maybe take us through some sense of what you have around reducing the load of people waiting when you can provide this support and the service.
Okay, thank you for that. I think I did mention to say that with today's winning, the 80,000 rand will actually help us to purchase industrial 3D scanner. So what the 3D scanner actually does, it means that even if you are from Namibia, whether you're from France and whatever, as Uhamba Prosthetics will be able to actually produce that at your comfort zone. So it's like you would actually connect, we will actually send you like the 3D scanner, or you will connect via your phone like an app. So you actually like, it will communicate with our 3D scanner. Even if you're not close with us, then we actually get the entire model. And then we are able to actually produce a prosthetic, then we actually ship it
around. And thank you. Apologies for my ignorance. I'm also trying to understand, if you're making, the leg for a growing person and they grow, do you refurbish at what costs? Is it a new leg that you create, or you just take the old one and increase the length to suit the growth of a person?
Okay, so currently our products are actually durable, right? So meaning that they're actually compatible to what is actually existing in the market, because the lifespan of a prosthetic is 5 years. So with what you just said now is that, for example, that we said we use recyclable material. So it means like if like for example, kids like outgrow the prosthetic, meaning every year or every after 6 months, they actually have to change a prosthetic. So with such, as much as we're using eco-friendly material and using this advanced technology, we are able to actually reuse the very same material or the very same leg and actually produce another prosthetic leg. And also the other thing is this, what also we came up about is we actually discovered that also instead of users like changing a prosthetic maybe after 5 years or so, what we actually can do for them, we can actually make them like be adjustable in a sense that whether you like gain weight or loses weight, but you are able to actually adjust it here from your socket.
Wonderful, thanks.
I just wanted to check something. So you've got your own workshop, and you say
Yes.
your products have a 5-year useful life. Do you then offer a manufacturer warranty or manufacturing guarantee?
Okay, it's not like, it's like a product guarantee, right? It's like when you actually buy a phone from any shop, and then it's like you have like a 1-year guarantee or 12 months warranty. So same with us. But then it also like we look at the terms and conditions. It's like terms and conditions actually apply. And then also the other thing is, maybe let's say as what you call as also, maybe you did not purchase like a prosthetic from Oklahoma, right? You have used maybe Michael Nair prosthetics. So, and then, but now you actually want us to provide you with the service and maintenance. We also assist that.
Thank you.
Just checking that there's no more questions from the judges before we move on. All right, so we're going to now have a poll. People who are watching can vote for the entrepreneur whose idea resonates with them, or who they think is a good combination of someone who will make a sustainable profit, as well as somebody who will do social good. So we're going to be bringing that poll up for you, and you can vote anonymously on that poll. We're going to do that very shortly. We're also going to be playing a video for you from the Motsepe Foundation, speaking more about the work that the foundation does in order to try and better lives of people across our continent, young people, women, youth, and vulnerable people as well. What's going to happen next is the judges are going to privately consult over the 5 pitches that they've heard and come back and we'll announce a winner. Thanks so much for your time and attention. We're going to take a break to allow you to vote, to watch the video, and we'll be back shortly with the results.
welcome to the launch of the Motsepe Foundation's first ever Information and Opportunities Expo.
In partnership with all these organizations that are listed here, we want to provide you with that support as you find your feet, as you drive towards your goals.
It starts with education.
So I knew that education will give me choices, it will give me freedom, and it's the foundation.
Your degree is just the beginning of the journey. So when you are a brand putting up your CV, you need to start to think about the level of consistency.
Find that network and build that network. And it's not just in the workplace, build that network in your social media platforms as well.
I need to be more employable. Companies are going online, are going digital nowadays.
Come into the digital space. This is the future.
I am currently a data scientist, so I want to participate in foundations or vacation work where I can help young kids also develop their technology skills, programming.
And use those skills to develop themselves, to develop their countries, and to make South Africa the best place to live in the world.
What I can tell you is that starting a business is no joke.
Entrepreneur is hard, but it's rewarding. If you do something you love, you will see the results in years to come.
What drives you to be an entrepreneur? That is what keeps you going. So we speak of that as the North Star.
Because as an organization, we believe that to deal with matters that are reflected in the SDGs, a big part of it starts with encouraging our youth to start their own businesses.
It's so important to actually see what talent is out there and how much entrepreneurship actually lies in this country. You know, it just gives you a huge amount of optimism and hope for the future.
It helps and encourages the youth to start their own business, not waiting for the government to give them something or waiting for a job.
But because of our parents, sometimes they discourage us and they tell us that no, you can't be this, you can be this, only because they don't have enough information.
I think it's quite important to really empower young people. I feel like that's all that's missing. I think young people already have the power, they already have the ideas, they're just missing the backing, the support from bigger business in order to grow.
And I'm quite happy to be part of this expo.
And not too long ago, I was one of these young people sitting in exhibitions like this, looking for career opportunities.
And it is very important to have such exhibitions because learners are really not aware of what's happening out there.
Post-COVID, this is one of the first opportunities that we've gotten to engage with them face to face.
We want to be part of the solution, and this exhibition affords us the opportunity.
Increasing our skills as youth, it's important to connect with the important stakeholders in the industry.
Having this opportunity to interact with companies that can offer me that internship or that work has been really a good opportunity.
Currently we have 1,000 ambassadors that work under Time Bank, and we're going to grow that by the end of this year to 2,000 ambassadors, which is obviously developing people in communities who just left matric.
Always make sure that you do your job the best way possible.
The ones that had strength and energy, they had a dream, they had a vision, and they had meaning and purpose.
As a young person, when you find employment opportunity, you don't find it for yourself. It's a financial freedom for yourself, but even for the family, even for the generation to come.
And so when they're educated, the idea is for them to actually give back to their own community. And so this is the community development, this is development of people, and this is development of households.
And I was the first people that were funded by the Motsepe Foundation bursary in 2014. Today, I'm a director of a law firm.
They don't just give you funds for your studies, they support you throughout. Even they care about your well-being as well.
And as you grow old, you move, you learn, you shift, you move differently. And sometimes, let me tell you, that table you are building your puzzle on shifts right underneath you. And you have to start from the beginning.
We are the future. No one can stop us.
congratulate and thank the Motsepe Foundation for the remarkable work that you do. We need what you do, more of it, at mass across the country. So just really well done and deep gratitude. I've been asked by the Foundation to make a few remarks to you about my journey and some of the observations I've seen that I hope are helpful to you. And I think about our journey over 30 years of building Discovery. It's been a remarkable time. It's been a challenging and just a lot of fun and a lot of just a sense of deep impact. I'm grateful for it. But I've worked with the smartest people. I've worked in different countries, and I've come across a lot of different issues. And if I were to pull out one issue of success that is so important, but I think about every single thing I've seen. And what is that one nugget of kind of attribute that makes a difference? It's not intelligence. It's not anything but, to my mind, one simple thing: attitude. It's about an attitude that is positive, that seeks positivity, not negativity. It's those kinds of people that make an impact, and it's those kinds of people that change the world. And I would really urge you, in everything you do, to work hard at seeking the positive out there. It's a fundamental issue. Now, up front, I need to say to you, this is not about being happy all the time. People have all kinds of challenges, and people have all kinds of difficulties and mental health issues and all. That's the reality of life. It's not about being naively happy. Seeking positive signals is about a deep intellectual focus on finding those things that are positive in the environment. Now, that may sound fluffy and kind of naive for some reason, and it's a cognitive error. People tend to think that being pessimistic is much more responsible. Let's be realistic about things. That is not true, and let me just give you some science behind this. The fact is, we know from evolutionary biology that human beings evolved over millions of years out in the savannah, out in the wilds. The important point is that the threats that we faced were physical threats: being eaten by a lion, having some physical thing that killed us. And we are the survivors of millions of years of that evolution. Now, the way to survive in an environment where you have physical threats is to seek negative signals, to be watching out all the time for things that may be coming at you physically. And so we evolved into a way where we seek negative signals. So that's how we survived. So that is kind of coded into us. The difficulty is that the world today doesn't work that way. So through the agricultural revolution 10,000 years ago, through the industrial revolution 200 years ago, we don't face physical threats anymore. In fact, the threats we face are systemic threats: the breakdown of systems, the breakdown of government, the breakdown of education systems, the breakdown of the economy, leading to job losses and high levels of unemployment. It's the breakdown of systems that threaten us. And the tragedy of our country today is poverty, is unemployment. We will fix that through systemic change. Now, you will know when you are dealing with system processes, the way to fix a system is through engagement, through creating loops of trust, through all kinds of structures of feedback loops, all of that kind of stuff. And I've learned that in leading our company is only achieved through seeking positive, seeking common ground, finding what works, discarding what doesn't work. So it turns out in an environment where you're dealing with systems, it is positive thinking, seeking positive signals that makes the difference. And so this idea that being negative is a realistic, responsible approach is actually not correct. Being negative is a primitive, evolutionary approach. Seeking the positive is a sophisticated approach. And I've seen that with the people I've worked, regardless of intelligence, education, background. The people that make an impact are those people that seek the positive. And that's what you need to do. I think nothing more important can be said in the context of our country. Our country at the moment, if you listen to people, there's potential immigration of skilled people, there's all kinds of threats that we face, and of course that's a reality. But if you seek the positive, I will tell you the country has remarkable positive attributes. I think we misunderstand the power and sophistication of our country. A few anecdotes. I think about the terrible war in the Ukraine and the potential for the war in the Ukraine to really starve the world of food, and energy in Russia, etc. You get a sense when you look at these countries, the scale of how big they are, and often I think people misunderstand how big our country is. Just bear in mind that the economy of the Ukraine, the entire Ukraine, is half the size of South Africa. In fact, the economy of Gauteng, where I'm sitting right now, is probably close to the size of the Ukraine. I think just 20% less. So just the Gauteng is potentially bigger than the Ukraine. The Cape Town, South Africa flight route is amongst the 10, I think the 10th or 15th busiest in the world, despite the fact we sit in the southern hemisphere with a lot less people. It's remarkable. Over 80% of the entire continent's long-term pension fund assets sit in South Africa, nowhere else. So this is a highly sophisticated, large economy, and I worry that in the current narrative, people don't appreciate what they have and the scale of what is here. And I think success for you and whatever you do, I think, is the ability to seek out those positive signals and to grasp the opportunity. It's interesting in my journey, I think about discovery. We started in 1992. This was precisely at the time that Nelson Mandela brought the country from apartheid into democracy. You'll recall in 1994 was the first election, but 1992, when we started, was a particularly complex time. High levels of poor economic growth, high levels of unrest, all kinds of potential for civil war, high levels of immigration, not dissimilar to some of the fears today. And the truth is that I think just the luck in that of starting at that time taught me a lesson that when you see positivity where others see negativity, when you see opportunities where others are kind of fleeing, that's when great things happen. And I keep relearning the same lesson. It's in difficult times that you build. It's in difficult times that you make important decisions to get ahead. And so I really urge you not to be deterred by the current. I urge you to be focused on seeking positive signals. It doesn't mean you mustn't focus on the negative. You shouldn't be realistic about potential threats. But in your journey toward whatever you do of success, whether it's job success, success as a parent, impact to the country, helping an NGO, whatever it is that you choose to do, success, I think, is fundamentally about attitude and about the narrative around the attitude. And I think appreciating what we have, despite the terrible levels of poverty and unemployment, our responsibility is to fix, to build, to help people find jobs, to help build the economy. And that will only come from people like you applying themselves in a positive way that makes an impact. So I wish you just the greatest success in your journey. Apply yourselves. It's a wonderful world out there. The threats are there, but the opportunities are there in greater amounts. And once again, thank you to the Motsepe Foundation for inviting me to make a few remarks, and just again, deep gratitude for all that the foundation achieves.
Thank you so much to our judges and to our entrepreneurs, as well as our audience, for joining us and giving us your time and energy this afternoon. I'm so excited to hear who the winner is going to be. Dr. Precious Moloi-Motsepe will announce that for us shortly. But what we've been noticing is that there's so much interest in people who want to be part of the Motsepe Foundation's vision and drive to support entrepreneurs, to contribute to building South Africa, to contribute to dealing with the societal challenges that we have. So we just want to say that you can log on to the Motsepe Foundation's Twitter page for information that will come out, and all their social media platforms. There's always information on there on how you can be part of the next round and part of the next pitch. And we look forward to hearing and seeing your ideas. For now, I'd like to hand over to Dr. Precious Moloi-Motsepe to let us know who the winner is and give us some closing remarks. Thanks so much for your time and attention. It's been such a pleasure being your MC today.
Thank you very much, Nzinga. You've been an absolutely fantastic facilitator. You always are. Really grateful for your work. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't have drums behind me, but before the drums come up, I just have 3 things to say to all of us here today. I hope you've enjoyed us recapping the expo that we held during Youth Month. And I'm most inspired by young people and the feedback that we received from you all. One of my favorite entrepreneurs, really lots of respect for Adrian, for a very positive message. He always seems to find something positive in difficult situations. And that's his message, and that's what he shared with us, that I want you to really take away. It's not cool to be negative, okay? Realism is important, but always look for the positive signal. So that was a very, very wonderful message from a very successful entrepreneur who made time to record that for our young people. And from myself, just once again, I want to emphasize what we're trying to create here is a platform for entrepreneurs, young people, startups that we want to build an ecosystem where you can network amongst each other and where you can learn from some of our esteemed panel of judges that we have and some of the entrepreneurs that we have access to. We want to make sure that you win. We look for people with innovative ideas. We like people who use technology to solve current problems. We really, really want to push entrepreneurship in South Africa and on the continent, and entrepreneurs who show social impact in their work are also a very, very big bonus for us. So I'd like to urge all those who joined us today to please write to us. Zinga has already mentioned our social media handles. Write to us, let us know what you want to see at our next expo and what areas you think we should be focusing on. As well as I wanted to secondly just mention that our team will soon announce the second rounds of competitions. I see a lot of people want to know, how do I apply? How do we get onto the platform? They will announce the second round of competitions. Our first one focused on youth, and the next one, because next month is Women's Month, we want to encourage young women entrepreneurs to enter that competition. We will look at women entrepreneurs, but we will also consider entrepreneurs whose businesses focus a lot on women, particularly because it's Women's Month. So we want to encourage activity around Women's Month, and the team will tell you soon when applications are open. I suspect it will be in the next week. And so please, we would like you to participate in that. And lastly, you heard very well from our entrepreneur and successful business person, Adrian Gore. Entrepreneurship, and many people say that it's not easy. It's never easy. And that's why you do it, because you are bold, you are very smart, and you are very ambitious. All of you who presented today, you have ideas that are really, really well thought through, create a lot of impact. And we are appreciative of what you have started, and we want to applaud you. There's no such thing as failing, as entrepreneurs will tell you. You don't fail, you simply learn to do better. So if you did not win today, it means you need to go back and probably refine your business model, think through what the judges have said and what you could not answer in these sessions, because that will help you to refine your business and your business model further. So I want to thank all of you that presented today and say congratulations for even taking the bold step to be vulnerable and open yourself to being judged. And I also want to thank our panel of judges. I really, really appreciate your time. We had more than 100 people who listened to you. Often as business people, you don't have time to mentor young people on a one-on-one. And I can tell you today, you have mentored more than 100 people within this short space of time. So thank you so much for your time and for your ideas, your thought-provoking questions and guiding our young people. It really means a lot. And thank you again to our facilitator, Nzinga. Always wonderful to see you. So we get to the end of this session of our competition, and I get to announce the winners. And I have nothing to do with the winners, I tell you. We have a panel that decides on that. But firstly, let me announce who you thought as the audience was a person that really resonated a lot with yourselves. The popular vote is won by Sibongile Mngadi. Zinga? Sibongile Mngadi. Yes. Sibongile, thank you very much. You seem to be Miss Popular. You know, when you have a beauty contest, you are Miss Popularity. A lot of people liked your idea. Thank you very much. You have inspired a lot of people to think about what they can do, you know, with their own businesses. Thank you for winning that popular vote. And we normally choose one winner for these competitions. But today we've got 2 winners because we had fantastic presentations. We decided to give 2 people 80,000 rands each, you know, because we feel they really deserve to be given a hand up. So our winners today are Kurula Baloi for Someone Investments. Congratulations to you. You have won yourself 80,000 rands.
So much.
We hope that that will help with your business going forward. Thank you for your presentation. And our second winner today is Sibongile Mungadi. Again, Sibongile, you seem to have really captured the hearts and minds of judges as well as our, you know, the audiences. So both of you receive 80,000 rands from the Motsepe Foundation, and we will be in touch with you. Make sure that you receive support also, non-financial support in whatever areas we can assist you in. And I really want to thank again everybody who's presented today and everyone who sent us comments during this session. So thank you everyone, and I'm going to hand over back to Nzinga.
There's nothing else to say. Dr. Precious Moloi Motsepe, thank you so much for the work that you do. It's incredible to watch the passion that you have from the Opportunities Expo, from today, the passion that you have for nurturing young people, for bringing them along, for supporting them and encouraging people to really try and succeed for themselves and for the greater good as well. So thank you so much for that. Very big thank you to our judges for your decision. A very big thank you to our entrepreneurs who took part, the people who won, congratulations. The people who didn't win, as we heard, there's no such thing as failure. It's just that we're going to try again and see what else we can do. Thank you so much. That's where we leave it for now. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Welcome to the launch of the Motsepe Foundation's first ever Information and Opportunities Expo.
In partnership with all these organizations that are listed here, we want to provide you with that support as you find your feet, as you drive towards your goals.
It starts with education.
So I knew that education will give me choices, it will give me freedom, and it's the foundation.
Your degree is just the beginning of the journey.
So when you are a brand putting up your CV, you need to start to think about the level of consistency. Find that network and build that network. And it's not just in the workplace, build that network in your social media platforms as well.
I need to be more employable. Companies are going online, are going digital nowadays.
come into the digital space. This is the future.
I am currently a data scientist, so I want to participate in foundations or vacation work where I can help young kids also develop their technology skills, programming.
And use those skills to develop themselves, to develop their countries, and to make South Africa the best place to live in the world.
What I can tell you is that starting a business is no joke.
Entrepreneur is hard, but it's rewarding. If you do something you love, you will see the results in years to come.
What drives you to be an entrepreneur? That is what keeps you going. So we speak of that as the North Star.
Because as an organization, we believe that to deal with matters that are reflected in the SDGs, a big part of it starts with encouraging our youth to start their own businesses.
It's so important to actually see what talent is out there and how much entrepreneurship actually lies in this country. You know, it just gives you a huge amount of optimism and hope for the future.
It helps and encourages the youth to start their own business, not waiting for the government to give them something or waiting for a job.
But because of our parents sometimes, they discourage us and they tell us that no, you can't be this, you can be this, only because they don't have enough information.
I think it's quite important to really empower young people. I feel like that's that's missing. I think young people already have the power, they already have the ideas, they're just missing the backing, the support from bigger business in order to grow.
And I'm quite happy to be part of this expo.
And not too long ago, I was one of these young people sitting in exhibitions like this, looking for career opportunities.
And it is very important to have such exhibitions because learners are really not aware of what's happening out there.
Post-COVID, this is one of the first opportunities that we've gotten to engage with them face to face.
We want to be part of the solution, and this exhibition affords us the opportunity. Increasing our skills as youth, it's important to connect with the important stakeholders in the industry.
Having this opportunity to interact with companies that can offer me that internship or that VAG work has been really a good opportunity.
Currently we have 1,000 ambassadors that work under Time Bank, and we're going to grow that by the end of this year to 2,000 ambassadors, which is obviously developing people in communities who just left matric.
Always make sure that you do your job the best way possible.
The ones that had strength and energy, they had a dream, they had a vision, and they had meaning and purpose.
As a young person, when you find employment opportunity, you don't find it for yourself. It's a financial freedom for yourself, but even for the family, even for the generation to come.
And so when they're educated, the idea is for them to actually give back to their own community. And so this is the community development, this is development of people, and this is development of households.
And I was the first people that were funded by the Motsepe Foundation bursary in 2014. Today, I'm a director of a law firm.
They don't just give you funds for your studies, they support you throughout. Even they care about your well-being as well.
And as you grow old, you move, you learn, you shift, you move differently. And sometimes, let me tell you, that table you are building your puzzle on shifts right underneath you. And you have to start from the beginning.
We are the future. No one can stop us.